the temperature inside has to sustain at least 0.5 degrees less for it to be a hen and 0.5 higher to be roosters.
Hi, we're the Lacey's. We decided to move out here to Southern California to be with our family and start our own small farm about a year ago. We had no idea about what we're getting ourselves into or had any experience, but we tried anyways. So join us on our journey as we build our dream small farm. Alright, so this week we have a lot going on. We're going to be doing some work on our chicken coop and then visiting another family farm in the area, so it should be a good week. But before we do that, we finally got our washer drain pump in. It's only been a week without laundry. Looks right. You guys saw from last week's episode, I tried to super glue the impeller. Well, you can hear that. It didn't work. Alright, let's get it back together, see if it turns on. Well, that kind of came on suddenly, so I didn't intend to actually see if it worked or not yet, but it did. That's awesome. So we have laundry again. Time to handle chickens for the week. So first things first is going to be the chicks. So we made a few changes to their brooder just because they are getting a ton bigger. These guys are huge. What we ended up doing was taking their feeder, which was this, piece of piping, which works great, but when they start eating a lot, we have to refill it like more than once a day. So we ended up replacing it with a normal chicken feeder that chicks use. The second thing we're changing out is the waterer. It works really well, but the problem is once they start to get bigger and kick up more shavings, they get shavings in the cups. I'm going to change them out to more of a bucket and a nipple waterer function. Anywho, I do have some sad news. So not quite sad yet, but one of our small chickens that you saw in a couple of previous videos who had leg issues was having trouble walking with the splayed legs, and we tried a few things and they just did not work, so we were hoping it would resolve itself. You can see compared to the other ones, he's just not that big still. He looks like a few day old chick still. His eyes aren't staying open as much now, and he's kind of just chilling, so I feel really bad for the dude, and I'm trying to do everything I can, but it doesn't look good. So outside of that, we're gonna get our other chicks in here and show them the new water and put everything back together. All right, well, now that the chicks are taken care of, it's time to address some issues with our hens. So here's the deal. In our coop, our nesting boxes are open on the top. So basically, there's no protection if they're laying. Other hens will just hop right on top. Usually not a big deal, but at night, when they're all sleeping in there, where do they like to sit? Not in the roosting area, but in the nesting boxes. So they end up standing on top of each other. The problem is the hens that are on the bottom get their backs torn up. So for example, this is one of our hens that has that issue. You can see her back is just raw in some places, and thankfully some of her feathers are starting to grow back, and that is probably due to the fact that we put our rooster, Fabio, in the hole, or rather in solitary confinement. So we are gonna try and form some cover for that's slanted so they can't sit on top of it. But in the meantime, before we get working on that, we are going to go visit a friend who also has a chicken farm. Hopefully we can learn a thing or two about him and his farm, and then we'll be back here to try and finish up this project. Alright guys, well we are here with Hugo from S.E.E.H Farming. He's been doing chicken farming for a while. How many years?
Total 4.
So if you had to give people advice, if they're gonna start getting into chickens or raising chickens, that kind of stuff, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't be scared to fail about it. Because failure actually teaches you a lot more than we actually know when it comes down to chickens specifically.
So do you start from, do you buy chicks from somewhere online, like a retailer, or do you hatch them, or?
So my original chickens actually were a gift, and from there I started the flock. Luckily, the gift that they provided to me was a rooster with 4 hens. So I was able to grow from there. I do incubate them, so my current flock right now is all through incubated eggs. So yeah.
What's your hatch rate from incubated eggs?
About 90%.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So I've been able to mess with the humidity. I've been able to mess with the temperature, and from there, yeah, it's been going pretty good now.
I did like 22 eggs.
Yeah.
And I hatched out 9-10 of them, and we have 8 left. So it wasn't it was my first time.
This is the crazy part about it, and a lot of people may or may not know this, but incubating your eggs actually gives you more percentage of getting roosters than it does hens.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder, do you know why?
The temperature inside has to sustain at least 0.5 degrees less for it to be a hen, and 0.5 higher to be roosters.
Hey, this is Future Scott. Sorry, I just wanted to pause here because this is super interesting, and I had never really thought about it, that just a small change in temperature can really affect your incubation as well as the sex of your chickens during incubation. So what I use, and it's actually what Hugo also uses, is basically about a 50 egg incubator from Tractor Supply. They're about $100, not too bad, and they work pretty good. If you really want to get the best hatch rates and the best hen to rooster rates, you really unfortunately got to spend a ton of money for like an Ova Easy or something like that, and unfortunately that's just not worth it to us. But if we were in a commercial production, most definitely would. So just do your best for now with what you got and make do. Back to Hugo. So how many chickens do you have right now?
Currently I have about 45 chickens, 15 to 20 roosters currently, and the rest hens. Yeah.
And what do you do with them? Do you have a business that you sell them with? Or?
I do actually have a business. It's called S.E.E.H farming. I go ahead and both sell meat. I sell fertile eggs. I sell the eggs in general, as well as I do sell my hens and roosters also separately if people are interested in that too.
Okay. How would they find you?
My Instagram is actually S.E.E.H farming. It has all my info from my email as well as my telephone number there. You guys can either message me, DM me, or you can go ahead and text me as well.
If you guys are in the high desert or local, make sure to check out S.E.E.H farming, their Instagram, and get some meat, hatching eggs.
Eggs. Yep.
And all that stuff. So thanks again, sir. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out.
Well, that was an awesome trip, and I definitely learned a lot from Hugo, and I hope you guys did too as well. So super nice guy. Make sure to check out his Instagram page. We'll try and link it below in the description as well. Fabio, what are you doing in here? Well, of all things that happened, Fabio, our rooster, somehow managed to get out. Well, step one before even working or measuring anything out here is we got to get Fabio back into his pen before he roughs up too many hens.
2,000 years later.
Well, I don't know if you've ever had the joy of trying to catch chicken, and that sucks. Now, I just gotta measure this nesting box area, and then I'm gonna put some 2x4s on the sides and mount a top to it so it's slanted, so I can't sit up here at night.
I'm always one step behind, wishing I could read your mind, but I'm ready, yeah, never ready. I wish I could have made it stop the first time that you stood me up. I wasn't ready, yeah, never ready.
Sweet, so let's get these put up. Looks good. So hopefully that really helps, and they don't find some way to get around it, and they actually nest in the nesting boxes and roost in the roosting area. So thanks for watching this week, and I will see you next week. Have a good one, guys.